Hello. In this CoGrad video, we're going to talk about all the places to visit in the northern part of California. California is one of the most important, beautiful, vibrant states of the United States of America, and in fact about 40% of the Indian IT employees are working in the northern part of California in what is called the Bay Area. We're going to talk about all the interesting places to visit in Northern California. I have another video that talks about all the universities in California North, but in this video we're going to talk about the places to visit. So first of all, where is California located? So this is a map of the United States, and California is located over here. This red part is the state of California. It's located in the Pacific time zone, Pacific Standard Time, PST. So California is on the west coast, and if somebody is in Atlanta or New York, that's the east coast, and they would be like 3 hours ahead. So if it's like, there's like a 3-hour time difference between the two coasts, the east coast and the west coast. So for example, if it's like 6 o'clock in the evening here in California, it would be like 9 p.m. in New York or in somewhere in the east coast. And if there's like a daylight savings time, there may be about 2.5 hours gap. So my point is, a lot of people in India don't seem to understand the concept of time zones. They don't seem to understand that the United States is a really vast country in the horizontal plane. So California is a very big state over here. In fact, to travel from the southern part of California to the northern part, it would take like more than 6 hours by car. So in the southern part of California, we have LA and Los Angeles and all these, Hollywood and all these interesting places. But in this video, we're going to talk about the places to visit in California North. There are so many things to do. California North, or which is known as the Bay Area, because it's got the San Francisco Bay over here. So the Bay Area has a lot of interesting cities, a lot of places to visit, and it's always vibrant, There's a very rich Indian community, and there's also a lot of concerts and religious activities, cultural activities, sports, and meetups, and all these exciting things happening. It's one of the most exciting places to live in the whole of America. And in fact, when I was living in other places, my relatives were living in other places like Raleigh or Atlanta or in other places, they would say, hey, all the action is happening here in California Bay Area. The top-notch Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, the top-notch cultural performers, a lot of really interesting people live here, and you get a lot of networking opportunity. Most of the venture capitalists, you find a lot of people in the northern part of California. So the states neighboring California. So if this is California, we have the Pacific Ocean on the west, Oregon on the north, so there's Portland, which is a city in Oregon on the north. Oregon is a state on the north, and Mexico is a country on the south. So the southern border of California leads to another country. So there's Mexico, and Nevada is another state on the east. So this is a map of California. So in Bay Area, we have all these counties. So this is like a zoomed version of the California map, which shows only the northern part of California. So here we have San Francisco, and if you drive down south, if you take 101 south, and here we have like places like San Carlos, Redwood City, and then we come to like Palo Alto, and then Mountain View, and then Sunnyvale, and Santa Clara, San Jose, and then there's Milpitas, and there's Fremont, and then it leads to Hayward, and then Oakland, Berkeley, all these places over here. And if you go further north up there, there's like a Napa Valley, where all these amazing grapevines and vineyards and wineries are located. And if you go over here from San Francisco, take the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is right here, connecting these two peninsulas. So then you'd go to San Rafael, and there's like, you can still go to Napa Valley, and then there's a lot of interesting places, Sonoma, all these places. There's hot air ballooning, there's wineries, lovely scenery over here. So this is a map of the California Bay Area. Some quick facts about California. So 1 out of every 8 US residents lives in California. Wow, isn't that interesting? 1/8 of the population of America lives in California. It is the largest economy in the US. In California's economics, if California's economic size were measured by itself to other countries, it would rank the 7th largest economy in the world. Wow. The redwood is the official state tree. In fact, we have a city called Redwood City. Some of the giant redwoods in Sequoia National Park are over 2,000 years old. California has two of the top 10 most populous cities in the US. That's Los Angeles and San Diego. The highest and lowest points in the continental US are within 100 miles of one another. Mount Whitney measures about almost 15,000 feet, and Badwater in Death Valley is 282 feet below the sea level. So the highest point and the lowest point in the US are both in California, within 100 miles of each other. Death Valley is recognized as the hottest, driest place in the US. Summer temperatures often reach more than 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that's really hot, believe me. Top cities in North California. So we have San Francisco, San Jose. So a lot of Indians, they don't seem to know how to pronounce this. So San, J-O-S-E, is not San Jose, it's San Jose. So it's because of the Mexican influence. So a lot of Mexicans, they pronounce a J with an H. So like in my MBA class, there was a guy named Jesus. So he would spell his name J-E-S-U-S, like Jesus. But we would all call him Jesus. He was called Jesus because that's how they pronounce it. The J is pronounced like an H. So, you heard of jalapenos. It's spelled J-A-L-A-P-E-N-O. Jalapeno is like, green chilies, basically. So, it's not jalapeno, it's jalapeno. So, remember, it's not San Jose, it's San Jose. And I'm telling you the history about why it's called, this. It's because of the Mexican influence. So, there's Palo Alto. And then there's Sacramento. And there is Monterey and Berkeley. These are some of the top cities in California North. So let's talk about the city of San Francisco. San Francisco, the size is approximately about 46.87 square miles. And then the population is approximately 838,000 as of the year 2016. Quick facts. San Francisco is the cultural, commercial, and financial center of the western United States. And it's the only consolidated city-county in California. Means it's also a city and a county by itself. San Francisco is very expensive. So it's got all these hills and mountains and valleys and it's not like flat land. So every time I'm driving in San Francisco, it's like my GPS goes crazy because of all the skyscrapers and the huge buildings. My GPS loses track. It's not able to get the signal. And sometimes you're driving on a street that's like at a 45-degree incline and there's a stop sign, there's like a signal in the middle of it. So your car is like at a 45-degree incline and then you have to drive. It's like, it's full of ups and downs. But it's vibrant and it's close to the Pacific Ocean. It's one of the most expensive cities too. So if you're buying, let's say, a 5-bed house in California, let's say in the San Jose, Santa Clara area, it might cost somewhere between about $1.5 to $2 million as of the year 2016. But the same house in San Francisco would cost at least about $5 or $6 million. So San Francisco is much more expensive than San Jose or Santa Clara or other cities in the Bay Area. So like say even when it comes to like house rent. So in San Jose, if you're paying about say $2,500 per month for a one bath apartment, so like in San Francisco you'd pay about $3,500 typically. So it's like much more expensive. So San Francisco is home to the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. The South Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area encompasses Silicon Valley, home to recognized technology leaders including Google, Apple, Intel, Intuit, Cisco, and Facebook. So just so you know why Cisco was named Cisco? It was named after San Francisco. Isn't that interesting? San Francisco has many nice beaches, and there's Muirwoods, the places to visit. And there's skyscrapers, Golden Gate Bridge and Park, museums, theaters, operas, there's concerts happening all the time, and it's a really vibrant place. But it's very expensive. San Jose. So San Jose is like about an hour drive from San Francisco. San Jose is about 180 square miles. So in size and population approximately 1 million as of the year 2016. Some quick facts. San Jose is the third largest city by population in California, the 10th largest by population in the US, and the county seat of Santa Clara County. So San Jose is in the county called Santa Clara County. San Jose is the largest city within the Bay Area and the largest city in Northern California. Home to many software companies such as Intel, Cisco, Palo Alto Networks, etc., within a few mile radius. Has many Hindu temples, Indian restaurants, cultural activities, and it's a very expensive city to live in too. So basically, like San Jose is about like at least 3 times as expensive as Atlanta or Texas. Places like Dallas, Austin, Houston. You can get pretty much almost the same quality of life at about 1/3 of the cost. So if you're thinking about applying to universities, remember that California is a very, very expensive place to live in. Palo Alto is another city. It's about let's say 10 or 20 miles from San Jose. So the size of Palo Alto is about 25.79 square miles. Population approximately 67,000 as of the year 2016. Quick facts. Palo Alto comes from palo means literally a stick, colloquially a tree, and alto means tall. So it literally means tall tree. Palo Alto means like tall tree. And it's a charter city located in the northwest corner of Santa Clara County, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. The city shares its borders with East Palo Alto, Mountain View, Los Altos Hills, Stanford, Portola Valley, and Menlo Park. It is named after a coast redwood tree called El Palo Alto, home to Stanford University, various medical systems, Facebook, etc. Let's now talk about Berkeley. So Berkeley is way up north, close to Oakland, and also close to San Francisco. So it's about an hour drive easily from San Jose. Size is about 17.7 square miles. Population approximately 117,000 as of the year 2016. Quick facts: Berkeley is a city on the east shore of San Francisco Bay in northern Alameda County, California. Its borders the cities of Oakland and Emeryville to the south, and the city of Albany and unincorporated community of Kensington to the north. Its eastern border with Contra Costa County generally follows the ridge of the Berkeley Hills. Berkeley is home to the oldest campus in the University of California system. That's the University of California, Berkeley. So UC Berkeley is a very popular university, and it's less expensive than Stanford. So a lot of people who think Stanford is very expensive because Stanford is a private university, they think of about applying to Berkeley. It's also very famous. And it's famous for the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, which is managed and operated by the university. Monterey is another famous city in California North. It's about like an hour and a half south of San Jose. It's about 11.76 square miles in size. Population approximately 27,000 as of the year 2016. Quick facts. The city of Monterey in the Monterey County is located on the southern edge of the Monterey Bay. Monterey was the capital of Alta California and about Spain and Mexico. It was the only port of entry for taxable goods in California. Famous for Monterey Bay Aquarium. So there's a nice big aquarium there with different types of fish and jellyfish. And I had a friend whose sister was interning in the Monterey Bay Aquarium. She was a high school student, and she would go there and they would teach her how to deal with the different animals there and different types of fish and jellyfish and sharks and all these interesting animals. And it's close to the beach. It's kind of nice. Close to 17-mile drive. So 17-mile drive is a really nice scenic place to visit. We're going to talk about that later. In 1846, the U.S. flag was raised over the Customs House, and California became part of the U.S. after the ensuing Mexican-American War. The city had California's first theater, public building, public library, publicly funded school, printing press, and newspaper. Sacramento. The size is about 100 square miles. So Sacramento is about 2 hours north of San Jose. So 1.5 to 2 hours north. So you drive up and you'll find the city of Sacramento. And the cost of living in Sacramento is actually much less than San Jose or San Francisco. It's probably about half the cost or maybe even 1/3 of the cost. Population, approximately 480,000 as of the year 2016. Quick facts, Sacramento is the capital city of the state of California and the seat of Sacramento County. So the capital of California is not San Francisco, not San Jose, not LA, it's Sacramento. So it is at the confluence of the Sacramento River and the American River in the northern portion of California's expansive Central Valley. Its metropolitan area is the 4th largest in California after the greater Los Angeles area, the San Francisco Bay Area, and the San Diego metropolitan area, and it is the 27th largest in the US. In 2002, the Civil Rights Project at Harvard University conducted for Time magazine named Sacramento America's most diverse city. So Sacramento is actually an interesting place to live in. May not be as vibrant as the San Jose or San Francisco Bay Area, but it is a nice place to live in. And it's close to the Bay Area, so there are a lot of jobs in Sacramento too, but if you want to drive to San Francisco, it's probably just an hour or hour and a half away. So, top companies in the California Bay Area. So we have Google in Mountain View, and there's Facebook, Apple in Cupertino. There's Zynga, the video games manufacturing company, developing company. Zynga is also supposed to be a really nice place to work in, just like Google. I think they also offer free lunches and stuff. It's a popular destination for software engineers. Palo Alto Networks, and Cisco, and Varian Medical Systems, which manufactures cancer radiation equipment. Symantec, which manufactures the antivirus. And then Intel for the electronic chips. And then Intuit. So all these really cool software companies. So if you're in the California Bay Area, you'll see companies at like every corner. Lots of companies over here. You probably won't see as many in other cities. Indian restaurants near San Jose. There's Anand Bhavan, Sharvana Bhavan, Komal Vilas. And Komal Vilas is an interesting restaurant because it's one of the very few that opens early in the morning, I guess, on weekends or whatever. So if people are planning to travel somewhere, they usually go there and get some food and they take it with them. So Komal Vilas is a really old, famous restaurant. And there's Bhavika's. It's right opposite Komal Vilas. It's a small like hole-in-the-wall kind of restaurant, and they offer a lot of like Gujarati, Rajasthani food. Their samosas are really famous. And then, so Komal Vilas is like typical Tamilian, South Indian food. Didi's is a really nice restaurant that offers like a buffet. So there's Gujarati, Rajasthani, Marwadi, and Punjabi food and all kinds of stuff. Chaat Bhavan. And there's this Nirvana ice cream parlor. It's like, right next to Komal Vilas, about like 100 meters away. And the Nirvana ice cream parlor is like, it offers a lot of these gelatin-free ice creams with a lot of unique flavors, very clean. It's really nice, and I go there quite a lot. Bombay Chaat, and then there's Annapurna's, which is like another, famous South Indian cuisine spot. They also offer North Indian food. It's like purely vegetarian. And then there's Mayuri Indian cuisine, and there's Madhuban Indian cuisine. There are a lot more than these, okay? You'll find lots and lots of Indian restaurants in the Bay Area, okay? So some of the places to visit in California North. So there's the Golden Gate Bridge, and then there's the Golden Gate Park, Muir Woods, Alcatraz Island, San Francisco City Tour, and then this Chinatown, Half Moon Bay, 17-mile drive, Napa Valley, the Old Faithful Geyser. So there's Yosemite National Park, Lake Tahoe, Santa Cruz, Intel Computer Museum, the Great America Amusement Park, Gilroy Hanuman Temple, Gilroy Gardens, Big Basin, Little Basin Camping Grounds, Livermore Temple. So we have a lot of these really cool, interesting places to visit. Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. So this is one of the most popular landmarks for its architecture. It's really old, nice bridge connecting to peninsulas. And then this is a suspension bridge spanning the Golden Gate Strait. The 1 mile wide, 1.6 kilometer, 3 mile long, channel between San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean. So this is the bridge. So this is the Golden Gate Park. So a Golden Gate Park is like, it's located in San Francisco. It's a large urban park consisting of more than 1,000 acres, okay, or 412 hectares of public grounds. So in this Golden Gate Park, you will find on one side, in the middle, there's like an amphitheater where there's a lot of concerts happening, jazz concerts and stuff. And on one side, you have the California Science Museum. Then you have the Botanical Gardens, the Wildflower Gardens. Then opposite to that, you have the DeYoung Art Museum. Then next to that, we have the Japanese Tea Garden, which is like really nice place, okay, with all these Japanese trees and the Buddha statues. So you can just sit there and, relax. It's really nice. And there's the Botanical Gardens, and then there's the a lot of interesting things in the Golden Gate Park. So it gets about like it's about 3 miles long east to west and about half a mile long north to south. 13 million visitors annually. Golden Gate is the fifth most visited city park in the US. San Francisco Botanical Garden. So it's got really amazing collection of flowers and really amazing plants, and it's a really beautiful place to visit with like a pond, a small lake in there, lots of birds and geese and ducks and swans. It's really nice. It's like the lung space of San Francisco, you could say. And so the San Francisco Botanical Garden, formerly it was called the Stribing Arboretum. It's located in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. Its 55 acres include over 50,000 individual plants, representing over 8,000 taxa from around the world. San Francisco's County Fair building is located at the entrance of the garden. The gardens are organized into several specialized collections: Mediterranean, mid-temperate climate, montane tropic, and specialty collections. So, Chinatown, San Francisco. So, in San Francisco we have this nice little place called Chinatown, which is really nice and vibrant. It's full of Chinese stores with all these really ornate Chinese furniture and Chinese decorations, chandeliers, and then there's all these shops selling a lot of beads and necklaces and jewelry and these Chinese silk dresses and purses. It's one of my favorite places to visit, and when I brought my mother here, she loved to go there. You know, she bought a lot of nice things for her friends to take back to India. So she bought all these tiny silk purses and tiny lipstick holders and, you know, tiny silk articles and scarves and, you know, beads and necklaces, you know, really, really nice things. And it's so beautiful to just walk around there. I mean, I really enjoyed walking around there. So this is the entrance to Chinatown. It's a street that has so many shops on both sides. It's really nice. And if you take the San Francisco city bus tour, so you get on like a hop-on, hop-off bus. So it stops at various points, and one of the points is Chinatown. So you can spend a couple of hours in Chinatown and then hop on back onto another bus of the same company. And then you go to the next point, get off there and look at the place there and then get in the bus, you know, that kind. So, Chinatown, centered on Grant Avenue and Stockton Street in San Francisco, California, is the oldest Chinatown in North America and the largest Chinese community outside Asia. Chinatown is an enclave that continues to retain its own customs, languages, places of worship, social clubs, and identity. There are 2 hospitals, numerous parks and squares, a post office, and other infrastructure. Chinatown is the most densely populated urban area west of Manhattan, with 15,000 residents living in 20 square blocks. It's a really nice, beautiful place to visit. So, the San Francisco City Tour. So, if you go to, like, say, the Fisherman's Wharf or Golden Gate Bridge, or like, say, you can look it up online, okay, San Francisco City Tour. There are a lot of pickup points, like in the Golden Gate Park. So if you go there, the bus comes there like almost like every 15 minutes. Different buses. Some buses are red, some are blue. So the red bus is kind of the really popular one. So you buy a ticket and you get on the bus, and then they give you like an itinerary. So it stops in all these locations. So you can get off there and spend an hour or 2 over there, and then another bus comes, and you can use the same ticket and get on the bus and go to the next stop. So you can keep doing that. So there's Fisherman's Wharf, Ferry Building, Union Square, Chinatown, North Beach, Ghirardelli Square, Palace of Fine Arts, Golden Gate Bridge, Golden Gate Park, and then there's the City Hall, and then